Welcome to episode 11 of Nuts and Bolts, our World of Tanks ANZPL show. Tonight we're going to be reviewing the last set of games. So we had the battle for third place that happened last Friday night, as well as a bit of an exhibition match between the Ouija's and CCs, as they're called, or Wargaming staff and community contributors. So we're going to have a chat about that in a bit, and also grand final this weekend. We're going to get in touch with that, see how we're going. But we've got the Sentinels and the Bulldogs playing off there, so got to catch that one. First of all, though, we've got the Ouija's versus CCs. So anybody that's involved in the Wargaming community knows about Vondel and J-Rated. So Vondel's the community manager of Wargaming and J-Rated is the product manager. So in this game, the community contributors got a chance to unload some frustrations on them. I think there may have even been a call for some crisp high fives. Hang on, before we go too much further, I'm just going to turn down the music a little bit. Make sure that you guys can hear me beautifully. So yeah, so there were some interesting games happening there. Like the first game, the Ouija's actually managed to pull out a win. God knows how that happened, but it happened. But then on round two, Ouija's tried to move in for some cap pressure fairly early on, but one of the community contributors, here you go, you can see him, he charged around the corner, and the other two CCs just sort of pulled in a bit, got some resets, started taking the tanks apart, ended up with a 3v1 tank advantage. Vondel did manage to get a call to bring it back to a 2v1, but not quite enough, and CC's taking that game out for the second one. Then we moved on to Cliff. So all the CCs sort of moved on to the 2 flag. Well, Wargaming did head up the hill for a bit, so which is get some vision there. But Wargaming did try to split up and get some capture pressure on both capture points at one spot, but it didn't quite work out for them. There was a brawl that was forced between 3 Wargaming and 4 community people on 2 flag, which the community contributors managed to get, and J-Rated, last man standing, manages to do a barrel roll somehow on a tank that sounds rather impressive, and the community contributors take out that one. So then next round with the Ouija's on defense of Cliff, Ravi did get up the hill first, and J-Rated sniped and did some damage. He's the last man standing again there, but the CCs managed to take the win on tank elimination. Now Muravanka. Here we go. I don't know why. Jay thought his tank could swim. In he went, takes the tank for a swim, blub, 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 and he gone. Although, I also don't know why. Napalmer followed him in a fair way. But yeah, that was the highlight from that game. I didn't care what happened in the rest of the match, but that one, CC still did manage to win. And now on CC's on defense on Muravanka, the Wargaming staff tried a quick tactic to get in on capture on this point, but obviously it went horribly wrong for them, and the CCs ended up taking. So I don't know if you're keeping track, but that's 5 versus 1 with the games at the moment. So the community contributors had already won, but you know what? We thought, let's go ahead, enroll Wargaming with 5 EBR tanks. Technically not allowed in the normal format, but they were already losing anyway, so they're just having a bit of fun. Running down, chasing down people, and just going as quick as they can. And somehow, it worked for them. They ended up getting the win on there. Wargaming just swarming all over the map, the speed getting them away. They managed to get that capture and take out the win there. So that was pretty good. But it wasn't what we were here to see. We were here to see game 2 of the night. The Matildas versus Scorpions, the playoff for 3rd and 4th place. So curiously for the Matildas, Geordie, who was doing a lot of their shot calling the whole year, didn't seem to be around. Like the first and second game, he definitely wasn't there. But Matildas on Sand River here moved towards the 2 flag for a capture, but the Scorpions had taken a lot of control of the south of the map. Matildas did start putting on 2 flag pressure, And they did actually set up quite well. Artie Noob was out a fair bit, and you can see him getting punished for it there a bit. But to come around the corner and for JT to get the shots on, Bales had set up really well. And Matildas take a win on Sand River on attack. So that was really cool. So then on round 2, the Matildas on defense of Sand River, they bleed a lot on JT fairly early. There was a lot of attention on 2 flag, but the Scorpions rotated around to 1 flag. Matildas did manage to bleed a bit mid-game, and the Scorpions took out a tank, but Bales and Whippet snuck up on Tin Tac and managed to get a kill, and eventually the Matildas take a tank advantage and win on defense there. Moving on to Himmelsdorf, Scorpions on defense. Initial setup looked like Matildas were going to come down the hill, and the Scorpions had set up for that. But the Matildas somehow realised that and they got the vision and quickly rotated around to the 2 flag, putting some cap pressure on there. But yeah, the Scorpions just sort of rotated a little bit too quick, I think, and came out the worse for wear, but still managed to get the win on time. Because that's one of the good things about being on defence, is that like the pressure is on the attackers to make a move, and that's what happened there. The Scorpions just put themselves in a position to not be attacked in that last little bit and getting the win on defence there. Matildas on defence, so they set up for a 1 flag defence and ended up getting a 3v3 fight on the K line. Matildas were very aggressive, like probably a bit more aggressive than you wanted to be, but it worked out for them, ending up with a 5v2 tank advantage and getting a win on Himmelsdorf there. Moving on to round 5 on Ghost Town here. Bales and Russian had a bit of a battle for vision down on the hill towards the south there. But eventually Russian goes down, and when you go down a tank, it does make it a lot harder. So they pushed hard in response, but they lost JT, and eventually the Matildas just kept pushing in and get the win on defense. On defense there. And with that win, it put Matildas at a 4-1 advantage over Scorpions, meaning they win the best of 7 series there, taking 3rd place, and Scorpions ending up with the 4th place, which is important because there's prizes for 3rd and 4th place, so that was important to determine the ranking here. So it was great to see. I became a bit of a Matildas fan towards the end there, so great to see that they managed to pull out a 3rd place there, so that's awesome. Moving on to the play of the round. Now this was the play of the round for me. So the Matildas have set up on this capture here. JT's on that ridge. Artie Noob's a little bit isolated out there, but he's doing his job. He's holding them off. Then Bales just come out from behind the hill here, chases down JT, forces him to make a move, and have just protected the tanks on capture so well. It was great to see, and it eventually got them the win, set them off on a really good path in the first game of the match. It set them up. And it showed their intent. They were attacking. They weren't happy to sit back on their laurels and wait for the Scorpions to come to them. They wanted blood, and they got it, and in the end it secured them 3rd place. So next week, Saturday instead of Friday, at Fortress Melbourne, live at Fortress Melbourne. I believe there are still tickets available if you're in Melbourne and want to go to this event. It is amazing. Why wouldn't you want to go and see an in-person esports event? We were talking about the MSI and Pinternet.gg in the podcast. This is right in our own backyard. Get amongst it. Go and see it. It's going to be amazing. It's free tickets. It's only ticketed so that they know the capacity of the venue, so it doesn't cost you anything. If you're in Melbourne, go along, get to see the Sentinels, last year's champions, and the Bulldogs, who were last year's minor premiers, face off there. So coverage for that starts at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, live on twitch.tv/World of Tanks ANZ. Check it out. Go and have a look. But there's one more thing we need to talk about. Monday night, that was the last round of the ANZPL. So they don't have finals, but they just do a home and away that finished off last night. So we had the Canberra Centurions versus the Hawthorn Hellcats, and the Cairns Comets versus the Wellington Wolverines. So the Comets and the Wolverines played out a 2-2 draw, but the Hawthorn Hellcats managed to pick up another win for the season. I think it was their third over the Centurions, leaving them winless. They did get a few draws, the Centurions, but no wins for them, unfortunately. And with that win, it pushed the Hellcats up into first spot to get that 5k in-game gold per player. So that's amazing. And Wolverines end up finishing second, so each of their players got 4k in-game gold. Comets third with 3k in-game gold, and Centurions in fourth. And each of their players takes home 2,000 in-game gold. So that's really cool. And I love seeing the B-League get off the ground, just to give that extra support to the leagues that are happening there. And if you miss this time, Season 3 of the ANZPL will be coming sometime in the next few months. So get on board with that. Check that out. And I'm sure the B-League will be there as well. So if you're interested, you could nominate for the draft for the B-League. And see how you go. But now, it's on to the last tank fact for Season 2. Yes, I know, I'm sad as well. Had a lot of fun researching these. But this one, did you know that there is private tank collectors? So people that like collecting their own tanks. And the largest one was held by former Silicon Valley engineer Jacques Littlefeed. Feed? I'm not sure if that was supposed to be Field. I may have mistyped that in my notes. We're going to call him Littlefield, and I'm sure I'll get corrected later on. But in his lifetime, he had accumulated around 240 tanks, estimated to be worth about $30 million by the time of his death in 2009. So that's crazy. That's a huge amount of tanks. And you know tanks are expensive, but 240 tanks to be worth $30 million? Wow, that's crazy. In 2014, some of them were auctioned off to help raise money to build a museum, while others have also been donated to a Massachusetts-based foundation for preserving historical war aircraft and vehicles. So they haven't gone to waste. They're still around. They're still on view somewhere for people to see. And it's great that they went to a museum so people can come and have a look at them and see how they're going. So that's great. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been the last tank fact for Season 2 of World of Tanks ANZPL. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had a blast doing these. Thank you so much, especially to Jake Truman from World of Tanks, who approached me and to do this show. I've had a blast. I've loved doing the interviews that I've had with, we had Saxon from the Matildas and JT from the Scorpions and CJ from the Adelaide Action X. It was really great to be in amongst that community and getting to know people. I'm very much looking forward to Season 3. But before then, excitement plus. Going to be tuning in Saturday night, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for the grand final. We're going to see you there.